So let's get started with C Sharp. In this lecture, I'm going to talk about the program structure of a C Sharp programming language. What are the different type of data types and the variables that can be associated with the C Sharp programming language, and what is reference and value type. This is the typical structure of a C Sharp program. Using keyword we use to include namespaces into our program. Namespaces contain collection of classes that can be associated with one namespace. So if we have any other files that contain this particular namespace and we use that particular namespace into our program, then we can get access to that any class that is associated with that particular namespace. So what is class? A class declaration contains functions and variables that can be associated with one particular class. Static void main, it is the entry point of our application. Console.writeLine, in the main method declaration, it specifies console.writeLine hello world, so a message will be printed hello world into our screen. Console.readLine, it prevents the screen from closing when the program just starts. It will print the hello world and it will wait for the user to input any value. So now I am going to talk about the different type of data types that are associated with the C Sharp program. Our data types are basically divided into three parts: value type, reference type, and pointer type. So value type variables, we can assign value directly, and reference type variables, we have to specify the reference of a variable. So basically reference means it specifies the memory location. So basically if we change the data that is present in that particular memory location and point it to any other data type, then it will accept that any other data type. So the example of a value type are bool, character, float, and integer. Bool accepts true or false value. Bool accepts boolean type value, true, false. Character includes 16 bits Unicode character, and floating point variables, it accepts 32-bit single precision floating point type, so it accepts decimal number. Integer variables, it accepts 32 bits signed integer type. Minus infinity to positive infinity, any number it can accept. In reference we have object type, dynamic, and string. In order to declare variables, we can do it like this: integer I equals to 0, float I equals to 2.12, bool is valid equals to 12. In this way we need to declare our variables. So let's get started. First you need to install Visual Studio into your machine. So head over to visualstudio.microsoft.com. Then choose downloads for Windows and choose this Community 2017. As I have already installed Visual Studio into our machine, so I can skip this part and head over to how to make a project using Visual Studio IDE. So let's start Visual Studio. Select file, then new, then project. Select .NET Core and then you can select console application .NET Core. So you need to browse through and you need to specify which is the location in which you want to start your project. I want to start my project in this particular folder, so I chose this folder. Then you need to specify the name of the project. It's first proj. Okay, so it will automatically create a sample application for you. So as you can see, this project is created in our window. So it has created this project program.cs file. So this I already did. What is the use of this? Using keywords and all, namespace and class. So let's start this program. So using control and wheels down or wheels up, you can change the text of this text editor. In this error list, it will display the errors that you have in your project, and in Solution Explorer you will going to find the number of files that you have in this particular project. Like I have only program.cs file included in here, and it will, and in dependency I have the whole .NET Core SDK, in which a lot of DLL files associated with that, which are inside this .NET Core SDK. So console, not read line, console.read line, and just leave it as it is. Now once we first start this project, as you can see, our hello world got printed in our screen. Now once we enter key in our keyboard, then it will get out of this command prompt. Now you will see how we can initialize a variable inside our project. So we're going to add two numbers and we're going to print that to our screen. So in order to declare variables, we need to use like integer a equals to 42, b equals to 3, and sum equals to 0. Sum equals to a plus b, and let's return the value just like we displayed hello world into it. We have to display the sum inside here. When we save it and run our project, it is going to display 45. So I'm going to demonstrate some other examples of it. I'm going to take this time. So you cannot make any modification in the code when the code is running. So you need to close this up. So let's declare a variable float. Float equals to float c equals to 2.5 plus c. So it is not possible to add a floating point number into an integer variable, so we can have to convert integer into float. So we need to take it as float, and only then it will be added up. $44.5. So let's define our own user defined variable in this a and b, and we are going to add this up and find the sum of the variable. So first let's close our project, and so in order to do so, let's at first initialize this variable to 0, b to 0, and now we are going to remove all this code that we have. At first change the data type to double, then console dot read line equals to convert dot to double. So it will change the input that we have, which is in string format, into double format. Similarly, we need to do it for b as well, and it will convert and display to our user console.writeLine, and we need to specify the sum of it. The sum equals to a plus b, so it will add this two numbers up and we display in our screen console.writeLine. Save this project, and then if you run this up, the command prompt is asking for two numbers that we need to add, like 42 and 56. It will 56.5, 56.8. Oh, actually we forgot to write here read line. So once we again start our project, 52, 64.3, so I can see it added this two value up and it displayed our end result. So in this way we can initialize our variable and we can do any operations, like it can be an addition operation, it can be subtraction or division operation, and we can even accept any data that a user inputs. So you can practice this up in your meantime. Thank you.